Okay, let's dive right in. We're talking about a technology that doesn't just promise to change our economy, it promises to completely unravel it, to pull apart the very threads of how we think about value, work, and wealth. We're going to explore how artificial general intelligence, or AGI, could literally rewrite all the rules.
To really understand where we're going, we have to look back, way back, to the very origin of money itself. The word comes from Juno Moneta, the Roman goddess of warning and counsel. I think that's incredible. It's this powerful reminder that money has always been about trust, authority, and what we as a society decide is valuable. And that story? It's about to get a radical rewrite.
So where does this great unraveling begin? Well, it starts with the most fundamental concept in all of economics: scarcity. For centuries, economics has been the study of how we manage limited stuff. AGI doesn't get rid of scarcity, not at all, but it completely changes what is scarce. Now let's be super clear about what we mean by AGI. This is not just a smarter version of the AI we have today. The definition we're working with is an AI that can outperform humans at pretty much any job that has economic value. It's not just another tool in the toolbox, it's a whole new kind of capital that can literally replace human intelligence itself. And listen, this isn't some far-off science fiction fantasy. The timeline for AGI is accelerating like crazy. Just a decade ago, the experts were pointing to 2050, maybe 2060. But now, with the computing power we're throwing at AI training doubling 4-5 times a year, that expert consensus has jumped forward to around 2040. The pace is just breathtaking.
And this is where AGI completely flips the economic script. It promises to make physical things, stuff that's been scarce for all of human history, incredibly abundant, almost free. But in doing so, it creates these intense, new scarcities. Suddenly, the things that are rare are the raw power to run the AGI, the ability to prove something is real in a sea of fakes, and our own very limited human attention.
So, with scarcity totally redefined, AGI starts pulling at the next big thread in our economic fabric: the value of human labor. I mean, think about it. If intelligence itself can be manufactured, what does that mean for the billions of us who use our brains to make a living?
The sheer scale of this change is hard to wrap your head around. A projection from Goldman Sachs estimates that 300 million full-time jobs around the world could be exposed to automation from generative AI. And that's before we even get to actual full-blown AGI.
Right, and this isn't like past tech revolutions, where some jobs just got replaced by new ones. This is different. This shift challenges the entire concept of human capital, the idea that our skills and our knowledge have any inherent economic value. What's your skill worth when an AGI can learn it in a split second and do it better?
But here's the twist. This doesn't necessarily mean humans become useless. Far from it. Instead, our value shifts away from raw production and towards purpose. The new human jobs, they'll be centered on things that are uniquely human, making sure AGI is safe and ethical, true creativity, deep emotional connection, and figuring out how we govern these incredibly powerful new systems.
So, as these old systems of value, the ones built on our jobs and the stuff we make, start to dissolve, what takes their place? How do you even measure wealth in a world where intelligence can be copied and pasted?
Wealth in the future might not be about dollars. It might be about having access rights to a one-of-a-kind, authentic human experience, or governance rights that give you a say in how an AGI operates. It could be owning the energy and compute that fuel everything. And in a world of infinite fakes, verifiable authenticity, well, that could become the ultimate luxury good.
And all of this brings us to the biggest question of all, the final piece of this new economic puzzle. If the very foundations of work and money are just gone, what kind of society do we build on top of that? We're faced with a really profound choice.
Across all the source material, the future really seems to split into two very different paths. And the most important thing to get is that neither outcome is inevitable. It's not written in stone. It's a choice, one that we're going to make through our policies, our values, and how we decide to govern this new world.
Yeah, we are standing at a crossroads. On one path, you have a kind of techno-feudalism, where AI ownership is concentrated in the hands of a tiny few, and the rest of us are basically dependent on them. But on the other path, there's a future of widespread human flourishing, where the benefits of AI are shared by everyone, freeing us all to chase our creativity, our purpose, and our well-being. So how do we actually get to that flourishing future? Well, the conversation is centering on some pretty radical new ideas for spreading around the incredible wealth AGI is going to create. Things like universal basic income to give everyone an economic safety net, or even bolder ideas like treating AGI as a public utility, owned by everyone, with the profits paid out to every citizen as a kind of AI dividend.
So the ultimate takeaway here is that this massive technological shift is forcing an equally massive economic one. But the final outcome? That's not up to the technology. That's up to us. It's about human choices. We can't just tinker with the old system. We have to be brave enough to design something entirely new.
We started with Juno Manita, the goddess of money, but also of warning and counsel. And that's really where we have to end. The warning is crystal clear. The very foundations of our world are shifting beneath our feet. The only question left is, what counsel will we choose to follow as we build the next chapter of civilization?